Hi guys, this is Tasha from Tasha Says, and I am back with another update with Miss Skyla. I was supposed to come back and do cycle 2, but I took so long until I just decided to wait and do cycle 2 and cycle 3. So I'll jump right into it. First of all, I'd like to say that it has been an adjustment for sure. I'm so used to the pill pack, knowing exactly when my cycle is going to come to the day almost. So it's been interesting trying to figure that out. One thing I would suggest though when doing this is to use an app. It's called My Days. I have a Samsung, so of course that's through the Google Play Store. I'm not sure if it's available with Apple products. But anyway, this has been really good for me. I've been tracking my cycles since February just to kind of see how it's going to come out. And what the app does is it kind of regulates it for you. It says, okay, well, this is about how long you've had in between your cycles for the past few months, so let's predict it this way. So, for example, I'll show you in March. So that little red is where you can insert it. Here's the key down here at the bottom. The little red is where I inserted. I marked that's when my cycle started, and so it started to kind of calculate how many days I've been having. So my cycle has been a 26-day cycle, and so in April it predicted when I would have my next cycle. And it was absolutely correct, which is great for me. And another neat thing about this is it shows you when you ovulate. So like this day, the little faded green, I guess is what it looks like. Those days are the days leading up to ovulation, which is when you're highly fertile. And then that's the day of ovulation. So even if you're not using an IUD, I think it's a pretty valuable app. Shows you what days to stay away from. Anyway, so that's been pretty good. Cycle 2 and cycle 3. Okay, so for cycle 2, it showed up, and it was interesting because I was going to use, like I said, the first time I started using tampons, so I continue to do that because I'm still scared of using the cups, and I'll get to more on that later. But anyway, so I used a tampon, and it's crazy because I put the tampon in, I put a light tampon in, and took it out, and there was almost nothing on that tampon. So I was like, okay, I can't go any less than light, so I'll just have to kind of just wear a pad. I had my period for about 8 hours, and then it completely left, and then it came all the way back. Again, not heavy enough or consistent enough to use tampons. So that was annoying because I could only use pads. However, what I will say is that it was very, very, very light. And that's something that Skyla does, make sure it cycles light. Again, if I were to count the days that it came and kind of left and then came back, it was 8 days again, just like the first cycle, which is an adjustment for me because on the pill, my cycles were about 5 days. I'd get them on like Tuesday and Wednesday, and it'll last till about Sunday-ish. So these are much lighter, but they're lasting longer. Cycle 3, which is what also going back to cycle 2, cramps, yes, that happened. It only happened one day to the point where I needed to take something, but they were pretty intense. And so cramps happened in cycle 2. Cycle 3, like I said, the My Days predicted exactly when it would show up, and that's when it showed up. So I did get my cycle that day. This time was even more frustrating because I got it, and I got it heavy enough to use tampons. So I was changing out tampons, consistently. Then I went to sleep with the tampon in, and I woke up the next morning, and there was nothing on there. And it's even more disturbing for me because I don't know the possibility or how high the possibility is of a dry tampon, rubbing against the IUD string and yanking it out or, messing with it. So it was a little annoying. And that day I had nothing. It was heavy period one day, nothing the next day. So I'm like, okay, great. No, I apologize. Let me go back. I had a heavy period for 2 days. 2 days, then nothing. And I was like, okay, cool, great. So I have like a 2-3 day period. Awesome. No. The next day, my period came back. And again, it was heavy enough to use a tampon. this would have been a great time to have been able to use the soft cups. And I'll put information about a review I did on that before I got on the IUD, before I got the IUD inserted. The soft cups, I could just put it in and leave it in for 12 hours. Whether my period is heavy or light or whatever, it would not have been a big deal because I could have just kept it in and left it in and, you know, emptied the cup or whatever and just stuck it right back in. With the tampon, I never knew what I could do. So it was frustrating to use the lightest of the light. And then, okay, it's filling up the light one too much, too quickly. So let's go with the regular, which I did. And then it's like, oh, I slept in the regular, you know, it's been 6 to 8 hours or whatever. And there's hardly anything on the tampon. So go back down to the light. It was just an adjustment that annoyed me. And again, this time it lasted about 8 days. So I had the first cycle, I believe my first cycle was lighter than what I normally have had. The second cycle was lighter, much lighter than what I'm ever used to. This cycle was heavier than what my second cycle was. So it's been an adjustment. It has made me a little frustrated during that period, again, because I wish I could use the cup. I wish I didn't have to do any guesswork. Just using the pad frustrates me because I like to feel and be clean. So I always have wipes with me. I always have, you know, the wet tissue, the portable pack, or some kind of baby wipe, something to make sure that I'm clean. And that's really annoying when I'm just wearing a pad or a panty liner during a cycle. So that's really all that I have right now. That's how it's been. I haven't had any other problems. Oh, the third cycle, I did have cramping, but not hard enough or not strong enough, excuse me, to use any type of medication. So I didn't have to take anything this cycle. Other than that, everything has been pretty good. I don't have any other complaints about Skyla. My experience still has been great. I thank you so much. Y'all are watching the videos, asking questions, giving me feedback. It seems like it's helping. So I appreciate that. And continue to ask me. I will continue to update if need be. From my understanding, a lot of women still have their periods for anywhere between 3 to 6 months, and then their periods go away. So that's great. And at the same time, but I'll continue to kind of let you guys know if there's anything that's changed. I did feel for my strings. I did feel my strings. I have calmed down from being so compulsive about that, so I don't feel them all the time now, just when I'm supposed to. Usually I do it twice. I'll do it once after my cycle to make sure that it hasn't been misplaced. However, I'm out of that danger window or whatever of my cycle kind of making the IUD possibly expel. So I check it once after my cycle, and I check it again right up those 5 days leading up to ovulation. So just making sure that everything is in place. A question I do have is about if my cycle does stop, then how do I know? I'm just really confused about that. If I don't have a cycle, how do I know when to track? How do I know? I'll read more and see what other women do, or I'll call my doctor and see. But for now, I mean, I'm right on track. Everything is going fine. I don't have anything else. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your comments and your feedback. And make sure you go to TashaSays.com. Thanks. Bye.